It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Since 2010, your weekly source for independent New York Red Bulls news and opinion. Now, from the Joe Goldstein studio, here's your host, Mark Fishkin.
Hey, it's Seeing Red flying solo for this midweek pre-Hudson Derby episode. Tonight, inside the show, we'll look back at the Red Bulls 2-1 loss against Nashville. We'll get you ready for the Derby tomorrow, 4:30 at Citi Field. We're going to talk to Roberto Abramowitz of NYCFC Radio. But first, before that, please do the liking, do the subscribing. Please, very much helps us, and we appreciate it. We'll jump right into Wednesday night. New York took on a solid team that was playing at home. They have a very good home record, and it showed. New York started a four-man back line. Omar Valencia picking up a yellow card in the first half not only necessitated Schwartz taking him off at halftime, but Valencia is suspended for the Hudson Derby tomorrow, which means that Raheem Edwards is going to play on left back in his stead. Nevertheless, New York, this match was just kind of quiet through the first 15, 20 minutes. No team really getting a bunch of momentum. It was just a midfield batting it back and forth game. Nashville had the better of the play. And then in the 34th minute, Nashville led a four-man breakout. I think it was on two or three defenders. And Yazbak wound up not passing the ball, but taking a really great shot from just outside the box that eluded Cornell. Nobody stepped to him. The center backs were tracking back at the time. New York goes into halftime down one. They pull one back in the 56 when Cam Harper floats the ball to Choupo-Moting for the header. Fantastic job from both. Harper getting back into the swing of things. And then only 7 minutes later, Hani Mukhtar with the finishing goal off of a great feed left unmarked as Nashville was pushed up into the New York box. And, I do want to talk a minute about Schwartz's decision to keep both Forsberg and Choupo-Moting on. Both of those players played the entire match after going multiple minutes in the previous match, getting into the Open Cup match. This is a situation where I think he is riding his two DPs, hopefully not into the ground, but at some point, the number of 80% plus minute performances may catch up with New York. The thing about the Red Bulls is they don't have a lot of depth on the bench. I mean, their subs, Edwards for Valencia at the start of the second half. They brought in Peter Stroud for Mohamed Sofo, who I thought was a little lost during this match, didn't see a lot of the ball. Alexander Haak was brought in for Daniel Edelman in the 75th as well, and he delivered a fantastic opportunity into the box late to try and get the equalizer, and then Julian Hall for Wiki. Victor Bogac came in late for Carballo. I mean, Schwartz went for it. He tried to win the game. I mean, that's really all you can ask for. He kept both of his players in. They played the full 90 minutes. At some point, again, there's concern that all that wear will catch up with them. But City has played just as many matches over the last couple of weeks, and they're going to be on some tired legs as well. They had a bear of a time getting back from DC, where they played to a scoreless draw on Wednesday night, and they were delayed. Both teams, I believe, had to get bussed back to the city because air travel was so difficult yesterday with all of the weather delays. If I have a bull of the match against Nashville, it's probably Cornell. Had a couple of really key stops, as he usually does, that kept New York in the match. You can be overly critical of the team. They did, the effort was there. They're playing a top team. Nashville's in the top four in the East now. I mean, and they're definitely the talent with Surridge and Mukhtar. They're doing great things, and I don't think a one-goal loss where New York had a number of decent opportunities to draw even. Bogac had that ball into the side netting late. I really wouldn't worry about it. The team is 500. They're 8th in the East. They're above the line as the May marathon continues. With that, we'll jump right into the Hudson Derby preview. Let's bring up the assets here and take a look. Let's see if we can show theirs. There we go. City, just like the Red Bulls, 5-5-3 for 18 points. That's good enough for 5th in the East. They've scored 13, allowed 14 in 13 games. That's really just not good enough. It's all their games are tight. They're usually low scoring. The Red Bulls are ahead of them on the table on goal differential. Second most penalties awarded. It's a lot of flopping in the box. They're tied for the last in gentlemanly play. Only 18 yellow cards in 13 games. That is that's last on your clean play, fair play table, but first in yellow cards in the league. They've scored the third fewest first half goals. Only 4 of their 13 goals have come in the first 45 minutes. Matt Freese continues to do well. He's tied 30 saves per match. New York is 4-2 at home. Their last time at home, though, they lost to previously winless Montreal. Let's look at those last 5 matches. Again, very few goals scored. And interesting to note, New York City, has not scored in their last 3 matches. That's over 270 minutes. I think it's up to, when you count when they scored against Cincinnati, I think they're well over 350 minutes without a goal right now. And of course, lost at home on a 96-minute header at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, allowed Montreal their first win of the season at a scoreless draw in DC. It's been a long time since they've scored. This team has really brought in very few meaningful players. Really, the only one is, I believe his name is Aiden O'Neill. He came from Standard Liège. He's a 6 for $2.8 million. But when you look at the players out, Barraza, of course, now DC United. James Sands is out on loan to St. Pauli. Jovan Midovic, who played with them last year, 19-year-old striker, is out on loan. And Santi Rodriguez was sold to Botafogo for $16 million. Very happy to see Santi Rodriguez off of this squad. So not a ton of changes. We're going to talk to Roberto Abramowitz later about whether or not he sees opportunities in the summer transfer window to bring in more talent. You'll hear me say this, but New York City fans are of a mind that the team is just going to stand pat until their stadium is completed, that they're really not going to be investing. Themes for City. Let's see. Let me get this going. An uninspiring attack. City have been known as the more attractive of the 2 New York teams, with a high-powered offense playing slick and beautiful soccer. But those attacks are a thing of the past, and this NYCFC team is dismally constructed. While Alfonso Martinez has been a revelation up top, they don't have much else. With the departure of Santi Rodriguez, NYCFC has relied on 38-year-old Maxi Morales to fill the void in terms of creativity. Their wingers, Hannes Wolf, Julian Fernandez, Augustino Ojeda, have not done anything to help. And then freeze the bee's knees. While the City attack has been awful, one shining light, much like last year, is American goalkeeper Matt Freese. As we alluded to earlier, he trails only Kalina and a combination of Cornell and Marcucci for the most saves per match in MLS, and he has kept City in many games so far. This is the 31st all-time meeting between the two sides. The Red Bulls still have a nice, healthy lead that was really kind of done in the early days of this rivalry. New York leads 16-10-4, but in the 5 boroughs, City leads that should be 7-4-2. The last time these two teams met, of course, was the Eastern Conference semifinal match, where both Felipe Carvalho with the blast and Dante Van Zier with the tap-in was enough to make New York red on that night. BWP, the all-time leading scorer, with 12. That isn't going to be touched anytime soon. Carvalho, Duncan, Harper, and Morgan, active players that all have a single goal. We don't think Lewis Morgan will be playing this match. It won't happen, frankly. The City lineup. Let's see if we can get that to come in. Pascal Jansson's perspective lineup. We have in goal, of course, Matt Freese, as I mentioned before. He has 5 clean sheets in 13 games this season. The backline, Berk Riese, a 27-year-old Norwegian. Justin Hack, a homegrown, who's now 23 years old. Thiago Martins from Brazil is 30. The other center back, and Tavon Gray, the young Jamaican, played 7 games so far. The 6s are Aiden O'Neill, again, the Australian signing, the loan signing for the Red Bulls for City this season. Andres Perea had come from Orlando. He has 7 games so far. The number 10 for this team is Maxi Morales. And again, he's 38. He's yet to pick up a point this season. Hannes Wolf has 3 goals and 1 assist from the left. Julian Fernandez on the right has 2 and 2. And Alfonso Martinez, the 26-year-old Costa Rican, has 6 goals for City. So what can we expect? These are teams that don't score a lot of goals, although New York has obviously done a whole lot better over the last few weeks in terms of finding the back of the net. They were able to score on the road. New York, the Red Bulls still winless on the road, of course, this season. They're one of 4 teams in MLS without a road win. I'm not sure if it happens on Saturday. I think the heavy legs come on, and so it's really going to be those late additions and late changes that are going to be the difference maker, who can come on with 15 minutes to play, whether that's a Julian Hall, whether that's a Mohamed Sofo, can come and get the goals necessary to take this game. I think I'm going to call it, I think a 1-1 draw just kind of feels right. And the Red Bulls will take it as they prepare to welcome Dallas to Sports Illustrated Stadium on Wednesday. All right. Quick and dirty, guys. We're not going to do emails today. We're just going to have this set up, and then we're going to talk to our friend Roberto Abramowitz on the other side, and just a little mini show to get you ready for the Hudson Derby. So nevertheless, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Roberto Abramowitz is coming right up after this short break. Thanks. We're at the New York Soccer Roundup before the first Hudson Derby of 2024. And so happy to be speaking once again from the NYCFC Training Center. That's the voice of NYCFC on Spanish language radio, Roberto Abramowitz. Welcome back, sir. How are you?
Mark Fishkin, always a pleasure to speak with you. And we have things in common, by the way.
So
yes,
many.
We both, basically, I'm not going to say root, because, I mean, maybe in your case, I don't know, because you're more fan than media. Me, I happen to work for the other side. I work blue, you work red.
Yes.
But otherwise, we're very much in sync with the U.S. national team, and we're very much in sync with the New York Knicks.
Very much.
To say nothing about the New York Rangers.
To say nothing. Well, there's not much to say about them, but I want to talk about.
That is true.
I want to talk about the blue team with you, Roberto. They've scored twice in 6 matches. What is happening over there?
They just haven't really been very efficient. They played much better against Washington. But then again, we also have to put it in context that Washington might be the worst defensive team in the league. But they were much more fluid. They had much better passing. They created a lot of opportunities. It was a pleasure to watch. The only thing that stopped them, Luis Barraza had an absolute blinder for them. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And he made 5, I think, of the 5 saves that I think he made. I think that was the total saves. I think 3 of them were really extraordinary. And so I think New York City should have won that game by a lot. And it turned out that they didn't win it by a lot. So, yeah, they had 5 shots on target, total 7 big chances out of 15 shots. And that was on the road. So, you would they should have won. Barraza stood on his head. And look, as we know from the U.S. national team that goalies can sometimes be the hero.
Yeah, for sure. I watched the first half of that game and was blown away that no goals were scored in that match. Both DC and New York City had a ton of opportunities, just back and forth, end to end, up and down. It was a track meet. And when I, after the Red Bulls game got to halftime, checked the score, I could not believe it was a scoreless draw. But for Red Bull fans that haven't been paying much attention to the blue side, these teams are equal records in MLS. They're both kind of smack dab in the middle of the East. What has been the story of NYCFC in 2025 to date? What are the big themes you've noticed so far?
Okay, well, first of all, I just wanted to mention that the Red Bulls are 8th. New York City is 9, which means
on goal difference, right?
Right. Yeah, because it's the same amount of victories. They're both with 5, and you guys are +5. New York City's -1. That would mean that if the players were to start today, New York City would be at Sports Illustrated Stadium playing a one-game play-in.
That's true. They would be, but there's so much to play for before that. Then
There's
and
so much to play
for
for.
now and then.
We're
So
only at
what has
13.
happened with NYCFC this year?
It's a talent thing, really. I mean, you want to look at it. They've only brought in one player, which is Aiden O'Neill, which, by the way, he's only played. It was 60 minutes and then 45. But when he's on the field, he's really good. He's smooth. He delivers great balls. You're going to see that as he gets more familiar with his teammates and with the playing style and what Pascal Janssen wants, he's going to be a big contributor to this team. There's no doubt about that. I think it's a really solid signing, but it's the only signing right now. And some of the guys who they brought in years past, the Monsef Bakrars of the world, Julian Fernandez, Agustin Ojeda, they've been up and down. I think Fernandez and Ojeda a little bit more up. Bakrar has been down. He still doesn't have a goal this season. He does a lot of things off the ball, and he presses high, and he can do a lot of different things. But hey, you're a number 9. You got to score some goals. And so far, that hasn't been the case this year. I mean, one of the great signings that this team has had, and it's basically going, is similar to what happened with Tati Castellanos several years back. That they brought in Alonso Martinez as a right wing, and because of necessity, shifted him to the center. Also, Nick Cushing had noticed that every time he shot, the ball was, basically on target all the time. And so they figured, well, let's see what happens if we move him to center. And now, he's one of the better goal scorers in this league. And in the last few games, he's been a little bit snake bitten. Barraza made a couple of really nice saves on him, and then he also hit a post. So he's going to be very active. He's going to be a handful for the Red Bull defense, no doubt about that.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, new coach, getting his feet wet. There's also a certain sense I'm watching on NYCFC socials, as much as I can wade into those pools, that there's a sense that the team is just waiting for the stadium to be completed before they really do much with the lineup, that they are just kind of focused singularly. I was out at Citi Field for the Mets not too long ago and saw the site has definitely been cleared. They're getting ready to go vertical. It's very, very exciting. But that between now and then, the team is just kind of float along. What's your sense of whether or not that's just a hump that the fans are saying just because they're unhappy? I mean, as you said, they brought in one player this year. And, the team is, I mean, this is the definition of mediocre, right? Equal number of wins and losses. Is there a sense that perhaps they'll be making a move in the summer window? What might that be? Or are they just going to say, we're just going to hang back until we have a place of our own?
No, I think they're going to make moves. They have the second most GAM available in MLS, over somewhere in the vicinity of $3.5 million. How much of it are they going to use in the summer transfer window, which is the one that they've really been focusing on? Because I think there was a lot of uncertainty in the winter transfer window about who was going and who wasn't and what they were going to do. And then it's sort of harder to find teams that are willing to let good players go if they're in the middle of their season, unless they've either fallen out or you've made some outrageous offer that they normally wouldn't get. It's easier to bring in players during the transfer window in the summer, and I think that's what New York City is targeting. Their number one target was getting a 6, and Aiden O'Neill fits that, although he can play the 8, he can play 10. So, and we saw him all over the field against DC, and he had a very good first half against Montreal in what was otherwise a really poor game for New York City. They were dominated by Montreal. So it was a tough way for, New York City to play that game. Montreal, getting their first win of the season. But they corrected whatever malaise they had against DC. Sadly for them, they weren't able to get a a win, but they played very well. I think they were happy with the way that they played. Now they just have to make it that extra step up and start scoring some more goals because it's been a while.
Sure has.
200 and I have the number here, but it's something like 260 something. It's the fourth largest goal
Scoreless
scoring
streak.
drought that they have had in their history, and they're like minutes away from their third longest. So let me see what the numbers are. They're at 261 right now, and I think they only need
In the
another
league.
6 minutes.
In the league, but they also didn't score against Pittsburgh, right? So
Yeah, there is that.
yeah,
And that was a poor game as well.
I mean, yes. There are a couple of important players that Red Bull fans know very well that may or may not be healthy and ready to go. Can you? I know you're at practice. I don't know if they've started yet. I don't know if you're getting lightning alarms where you are in Rockland County, but where I am in Jers, it's about to hit big time. But Keaton Parks, Kevin O'Toole, Malachi Jones, and any update, or can we expect those players to be making a difference on Saturday?
Well, they were the players were not on the field. We had a nightmare coming back yesterday from DC because of the weather here in New York. So I'm trying to figure out, how they're going to practice, and how hard they're going to go after, a long day of travel. So I don't know. Keaton didn't make the trip. O'Neill didn't make the trip. Malachi Jones may not play the rest of the season. So those guys are, but they have competent backups in the fact that Johnny Shore has still been playing very, very well, despite the fact he's only 18 years old. He's been really, really a solid player. You're going to have Aiden O'Neill. You have Perea. So they have different players that they can, definitely put in there for Keaton, although Keaton Parks is extremely missed. Keaton Parks is probably one of the two best players on New York City so far this season, and they miss him. When he's not there, the ball doesn't seem to progress as much. Now we'll see with Aiden O'Neill if that winds up happening and he's able to push the ball up the way Keaton was doing.
You and I frequently find each other on social media, old men railing at clouds about the lack of attention that these games get. This is like the perfect storm of indifference by the New York media. You've got the Knicks going tonight to close out the Celtics in Game 6. You have a Subway Series going on with those teams battling in the Bronx. And then you have this game, oh, by the way, for the first time this year and for the first time since the playoff game last season, meeting at Citi Field. Is there do you just take a flyer this weekend and say, yeah, no, this is just not really going to generate much attention? Also, the fact that it's a 4:30 start in the afternoon rather than an evening game.
I think that's better, actually, but that's just my opinion.
You think that's better
like
for more attention?
It's an afternoon game.
You like afternoon?
Yeah,
games?
just in general. I just there aren't enough afternoon games, and so and once you get into the to the heat of the summer, then it's hard to play afternoon games, and 7:30 makes a lot more sense. But I don't know. It's hard. It's been where the focus has been on DC all week long, and now you got over that, and then all of a sudden you only have 1 day to prepare or 2 days to prepare for the Hudson River Derby. So I don't know how much attention it's actually going to get. Yet, I mean, I'm seeing, sections open in Citi Field, which I normally don't as far as tickets. I saw where they're putting the Red Bull fans. I don't know if telescopes will be provided.
Yes, I think binoculars will be de rigueur.
No, but actually, even in that section, it's a good section. Seriously, it's a good section. You're going to get Citi Field is a better configuration than
for sure
Yankee
than
Stadium
Yankees
for soccer.
Absolutely. It's just interesting given the playoff game, the supporters were in the 300 level right behind the goal, and for tomorrow they'll be I don't think sky box is exactly, but just sky. They'll be in the upper
They'll
part
be ducking
of
the planes. You'll be ducking the planes taking off from LaGuardia.
That's right. For me, looking at this match, this has like 1-1 draw written all over it. Neither of these teams score goals. I wouldn't be surprised with a scoreless draw either. Do you have a sense? I mean, I know you're not one for predictions per se, but do you have I mean, this just seems like, I mean, both New York and New York City, this is the second week of matches every 3 days. For the Red Bulls, they'll have a quick turnaround for the U.S. Open Cup round of 16 this week, midweek at Red Bull Arena. I'm just kind of curious.
Thanks for rubbing that in. Thank you.
I'm just mentioning facts, Roberto, and if there's a problem with that, it's another show that you can go to. But I just,
sure.
It's just like, as you said, there's not a lot of time to refocus. It's literally just next man up, playing every 3 days. The Red Bulls have 9 games this month. I'm just kind of curious. I don't know how much quality we'll see. I just think a lot of tired legs.
I think that's going to be the case. I mean, Maxi Morales was taken out in the first half, and that was planned so he can be available for, to go 90 minutes against the Red Bulls. So Aiden O'Neill should be at least being able to go 60 or 70. The rest of the lineup should be pretty much the same, I would expect. I don't think there's many changes. I don't think there aren't any new injuries that I'm aware of. But we'll get the report after the game. I mean, PR doesn't tell us anything, but we have to wait for Pascal Janssen to tell us who's available, who's not available, who might be able to go, and who might not. So awesome. I'm expecting, aside from the players that we mentioned, I expect everybody else to be ready to go.
Well, there sure will be a soccer game Saturday afternoon at Citi Field with these 2 New York area teams battling. And as always, Roberto, we appreciate you stopping by. Where can fans find you?
All right. So I'm still on X. Don't hate me. I'm still there. I paid in for more people to actually see what I do, because they had me totally throttled. And trust me, I was not happy about giving Elon any of my money. So I did that. And that was before, I think this is still before, he became somehow part of the government. So there's that. But so I'm there at Rob Abramowitz, as you can see on the screen. I'm on Blue Sky, which I ask everybody to go on Blue Sky. Mark and I converse there often. So come to Blue Sky. It's a safe haven. It's sort of like what Twitter used to be,
yes,
but nicer.
Yes.
And it's a very nice place to be. So go to Blue Sky. You can find me at Roberto Abramowitz there. And then I'm on Instagram, Threads at Roberto Abramowitz, and Facebook at Roberto Abramowitz Oficial, which
awesome.
is in Spanish.
Thank you so much.
I'm pretty much all of those. And what else? Oh, yeah, we have the only radio or streaming broadcast in Spanish of this game. So for all of you who prefer to listen to games in Spanish, you can find me on either the New York City app or the TuneIn app, and you can listen to it in Spanish. And it's also going to be on Sirius channel 1999, 1999, like Prince used to sing.
Fantastic. We've come to an end of a terrific Seeing Red. No emails for this show. I want to thank Zach Bellman for stats, and of course Roberto for stopping by. We will be back hopefully before the Red Bulls and FC Dallas tangle. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Enjoy the game.